Alright, people, so I'm here with your Raw review. Just going to get right into the show here. A couple things to, at the end of the reviews, I usually add up the match times. I think I've proven my point doing that. I'll still keep track of individual match times, but, I mean, there's really no need to compile the average match times on Raw anymore, because I think I've made my point that, Raw matches are usually an average of 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes long, usually in that range, and that's just unacceptable, and it leads to shitty matches too. Oh, and I'm not going to put my Raw intro, song on here because just for time constraints and faster upload here, get it up before today's episode of Raw. So we have to get the show started off. Owens, Jericho, and Braun Strowman cutting a promo. Now, last week or 2 weeks ago, you had the Big Show out there confronting Braun Strowman, and now he's MIA. He's nowhere to be found. I mean, that just shows how unorganized WWE is and how they don't have anything planned out for the future. I mean, just if you're going to do that, what the fuck's the point if Big Show's not even going to be there, on this show? So, once again, a pretty short promo. Owens just retained the championship at the Rumble, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, and his victory speech is like 5 minutes long. I mean, pretty fucking pathetic there. It's like everything on this show is mini-sized. It's shortened. Everything is short. They don't give, you figure on a fucking 3-hour show, they'd give the wrestlers a lot of time to, especially your champion, you give them a lot of time to talk, a lot of time to wrestle, but no, they don't do that. They try to do as many segments as possible. Why? I don't fucking know. So then Braun says he wants a title shot. So then he's given a title shot, which, I mean, doesn't really make sense. You got Foley, who's supposed to be a babyface, going out there, and after, Owens is like, has been put through this match, you put him in a fucking title match, right after, he's taken some brutal, took a brutal beating, but whatever. So we got Braun Strowman in a title match, even though he kind of went from, like, facing jobbers, and then they just all of a sudden put him in the main event. Kind of like Ryback. Very, very identical to Ryback. And I gotta say, he's actually been kind of impressive as a, kind of a monster heel. He's not great or anything like that, but, I mean, he's decent. Then we have Zayn defeating Jericho. It was an 8-minute match. I thought it was pretty boring, pretty basic. And, again, on this show, it seemed like you had the champions getting their asses kicked, whether it be the tag team champions, the U.S. champion, the Universal champion, the Divas champion. It's like they all got their ass kicked. And this is what I'm talking about. You can't do 50-50 booking. You have to put the champions over a majority of the time and make them look strong. That's why every fucking title in this company is not taken seriously. So this match, like I said, pretty boring, pretty basic. I gave it a 0.5 star out of 5. Then we have Nice defeating Ali in a cruiserweight match. There were some decent moves in here, but once again, they fail to give it an adequate amount of time. It was only 3 minutes and 50 seconds long. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Like, if they would give the matches like double the time, 10 minutes, I mean, it would be so much better. But it's like it's so rushed, it's so short, and it doesn't feel special. Then we have Rollins and Stephanie McMahon cutting a promo. So, they're moving more towards the Rollins Triple H, feud here. I thought Rollins did a pretty good job here of cutting a promo. He had some nice insults on Triple H and Stephanie. He calls out Triple H, but Stephanie says Triple H is on his way. So all in all, a decent promo, mostly because of Rollins. He mostly did the talking and insulting. So, okay, they're building up to a future, thing here. So, and I felt like they gave this, like I said, a good amount of time. Maybe they could have given a little longer, but I mean, Rollins still was able to get in what he had to say. Then we have a mixed tag here: Cesaro and Sheamus and Bayley defeat Charlotte and Gallows and Anderson. Here, this is what I'm talking about. The new tag champs. Oh, the new tag champs. The Omen in the sky. Gallows and Anderson lost. Their first fucking match as champions, they lose. How dumb is that? And Charlotte, who has been, they've been heavily pushing her. but she loses again. It's like, right after she beats Bayley at the Rumble, she loses. It just makes no sense. Like, decide who you're going to put over and give them, a lot of, give them a majority of the victories. Enough with the fucking 50-50 booking. God, it's just so annoying. The match was only 4 minutes and 40 seconds long. Mixed tag matches, by the way, are dumb as fuck. You got Cesaro, who's got a great physique. He could look tough, but instead he's hugging Bayley and fucking around with Bayley. Like, it just looks so dumb. Bayley is I've been saying this, the worst fucking gimmick I've seen. That is not championship material. That is material that should be on fucking Teletubbies or Clifford the Big Red Dog. I mean, she embarrasses herself with all the hugging and all the the blow up, whatever the fuck those things are. It looks like a fucking 20-foot penis. Like fucking 8 20-foot penises shooting up, blow up penises. I mean, it's pathetic. So, but that just shows you what this product is tailored to nowadays. 9-year-old kids. So that match sucked. Then we have Neville and Swan cutting a promo. So Neville, once again, pretty short. But, at least they're trying with promos now. At least they try. That was one of my big complaints with the Cruiserweight division, is that they never had any promos. So at least they had a promo here. And once again, your champion gets his ass kicked. Right after winning the belt. His first fucking segment, the first time you see him as champion, he's getting his ass kicked. It's like, you can't do that, WWE. You can't. So he tells Swan to bow down to him and shit, so he doesn't, and they brawl, and all in all, Swan comes out on top. Like I said, promo wasn't of any substance, really. Pretty short and uneventful. Then we have your championship match, Owens versus Strowman. I mean, it was kind of predictable that Reigns would come out, and there's no way Owens was going to drop the belt right after he won it. Or retained it. No way he was going to drop it to Strowman, and especially not, they didn't even have it as the main event, so that told you right there he was going to win or not lose. So it was a pretty short and boring match here. Jericho gets choke slammed through the table, which was a pretty cool spot, and that was pretty much the only cool spot. I forgot to put how long this match was, but I think it was only like 4 or 5 minutes. Pretty pathetic. Reigns comes down and interferes, like I said, which was, I guess you could say semi-predictable. I gave it a half star out of 5. And once again, Owens gets his ass kicked. Once again, another champion getting his ass kicked. And who's the one kicking ass again? Oh, the guy, Roman Reigns, spearing Strowman, spearing Reigns, Why don't you just spear everybody? I mean, it's just so pathetic how much they put him. I mean, they know they could never put him as champion because he is so hated by every fucking member of the WWE universe who, is not 9 years old. Not every, hey, I like him, and I think he's a good wrestler. I'm not saying everybody hates him, but just a figure of speech. A lot of people hate him. And they know they can't put him as champion because when they did, it was a complete disaster. So instead, they do the shit where Vince McMahon still has this urge for some, who knows what reason, to push him. So they put him in the main event and they have him kick everybody's ass, but they never give him the belt. I mean, it's pathetic. So I'm just so sick of seeing this guy. Who's still trying to feed off of the Shield, still wearing Shield apparel, still using the Shield theme song, which is just garbage. I mean, get your own fucking gimmick. He doesn't even have a gimmick because he can't even talk. He can't cut a promo. He's the guy. That's his gimmick. Oh, that's a great gimmick, Roman. Great gimmick. So, yeah, I did not like that. Then Heyman cuts a promo here. So he comes out and he's like, after Lesnar has, gotten embarrassed for the last 3 months. He got embarrassed last night again by a 48-year-old wrestler who has been pretty much, who's washed up, and he got eliminated again in like a minute and a half. I mean, how pathetic does that look? Oh, they're oh, hey, ruthless. They're just setting up for the match at WrestleMania. They're just setting up for the match. Well, you don't have to have him get his ass kicked. You don't have to devalue his worth in the process. Okay, let's say he goes over at Mania, best case scenario. I mean, he still got his ass kicked. You know, he still looked pathetic. And this feud didn't even have to be fucking this long. You could have had Lesnar face somebody else at Survivor Series, and just do the one match at Mania. So Heyman comes out and says many greats have yeah, but you could say, oh, Ronda Rousey was great, but yeah, but she lost to the other chick or whatever the fuck. So then, he says Lesnar's going to, you could say Lesnar's great, but yeah, buddy got his ass kicked by Lesnar twice. Yeah, no shit. So he wants a rematch at Mania, so that's what he said there. The promo was pretty uneventful. Nothing really got accomplished here except, the possible rematch at Mania. Then we have Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks. Very awkward match here. 2 minutes into the match. That's how long the match was. The bell just, Nia has her submission in, which was actually a pretty cool submission. I'll give it to Nia, even though I think she's a pathetic-ass wrestler. She has a pretty cool submission in on her leg, bending it in a weird way, which looked painful, especially, since Sasha has a knee injury. And the bell just rings out of nowhere. The ref doesn't call for it, so somebody fucked up there. I don't know what happened, but it looked weird as hell. It was confusing. And then Bayley comes out. Oh, here we go again with hugging. Hugging. Oh, I'm so nice. I just love to hug everybody. So Bayley comes out, and you figure, usually when somebody comes out to save somebody, they engage the other person in violence. They engage the other person in a fight. But Bayley's like, hey, let her go. Let her go. Let her go. She doesn't even try to fucking punch, Nia Jax or anything. And then Nia Jax just lets her go. Just lets her go because, the hugger said so. It just, as Nia Jax, why would you let go just because Bayley comes out there? Or why wouldn't you attack Bayley? You just leave because Bayley told you so? Because this pathetic hugger told you so? Then we have Enzo and Cass defeating, I don't even know, Rusev and Jinder Mahal in a tornado tag match, which was pretty basic. It was 6 minutes and 20 seconds long. I gave it a half star out of 5. I like the concept that they tried something different. I usually like tornado tag matches, but this just didn't do it for me. Like I said, pretty basic ass match here, nothing too exciting. Then you get the Triple H segment here, which we were all waiting for. So once again, they don't have a surprise return. They have to announce the returns in advance, which again, they never have surprise returns anymore because they have to, we got to boost the ratings 0.2% for or whatever, 0.02% for 1 week of Raw. But they did redeem themselves here. When Samoa Joe had a surprise, finally something, halfway decent. Finally something good. Usually when they do debuts nowadays, it's, they have vignettes for like a fucking year before they debut the person. Just crappy ass vignettes. Like, remember Fandango, that failure of a gimmick? They had vignettes for like 6 months, and then he debuted and was a complete failure. Debuts like that are so shitty. Everybody knows he's going to be there. Debuts like this are awesome. Remember Brock Lesnar? That was an awesome debut. This was another very good debut here. Unexpected, unannounced. Hard-hitting. Samoa Joe, very hard-hitting wrestler. Big guy. It was a good visual impact. So he just comes out. Rollins is about to attack Triple H, and I figured, they're probably going to have security come out there like they did at the pay-per-view at NXT. But no, they had Samoa Joe out there, and he kicked Seth Rollins' ass, which was cool. I'm not a big fan of that submission, the Coquelina clutch or whatever the fuck it's called. It's just a fucking sleeper hold, which is like one of the most basic submissions ever. I mean, you can't find a more creative move than that. You can't find a more creative submission than that. I mean, it looks pretty pathetic, but I like the surprise, you know, debut here. So that was pretty cool, unexpected, you know, good to see there. So yeah, definitely a good way to end a shitty show. Now I hear Seth Rollins might be hurt. I don't know what the fuck's up with that. We'll have to see. I'm not going to speculate or, you know, make a video about it until we know for sure. But last segment was good there with the Samoa Joe debut. Other than that, though, the show was shit for the most part. I mean, I think you had a good Rollins promo there with Stephanie McMahon, but I mean, 2 good segments is not enough to make this a good show. So overall, a pretty bad show. But there you go, people. There's your Raw review.